top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Good morning, Sandy. She may or may not be there.
Hello, here we are.
Don't worry. I'm
There
here.
we are.
Oh, you're there.
You haven't missed me.
Yes, like a bad dream. I'm right here.
Every morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Be good.
What do you got for us? Headlines related.
Well, big cruise ship day today.
Is it?
Really? How many?
Over 9,000 passengers.
What?
I know. So we're
Look
going to be
that up.
live here in a second with the
You are
passengers. I mean, live from the port. Let me clarify that.
I mean, are we going to have like a what is it? Another press conference and figure out what's going on with all these regulations? Because it seems like no one cares anymore. Like, if we're letting like 9,000 people just that are mingling and close, come in and doing all this stuff.
I thought it was 5,000 at a time.
Well, you know what? The
it's changing. I know it's changing.
To Aaron's point, most of us won't have any contact with those people at all. I mean, I know I won't.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but the people that live among us that work in the cruise, in the tourism.
So there's 3 Carnival cruise ships today: the Carnival Paradise, the Carnival Vista, and the Carnival Sunrise.
Rise.
Okay.
Yeah, 9,012 it says.
Huh.
So we'll see. We've got Gene on location, so we'll be pulling him into our feed here in a little bit to see all the hoopla and what's going on. The police are still looking for 2 teenagers who are on the loose. They have been spotted several places, including West Bay and off of Palmdale. So they are traveling together, and the police continue to encourage them to simply come on in, to come back to the Francis Bodden Children's Home, and let's hug it out and figure it out. Chamber of Commerce Earth Day cleanup is coming up on April the 23rd. So they're asking companies and individuals of all ages and size to contact them about participating. This is the one day when you see a lot of people on the roadside picking up trash in our beaches and on the roadside and just everywhere. And I suppose it puts a little bit of a dent in, the litter problem. And sometimes litter is showing up from elsewhere around the world in our shores. So contact the chamber and, block out the 23rd as a day to do something good for the environment.
It would be cool if we, like in Rwanda, they do it once a month. They all go out and they clean up.
I think we should do it all the time.
I think once a month, it's a community cleanup. Everyone gets out. It's, what is it called? Uganda. So, anyway.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea. And I think every time individually you see trash, my daughter does this. She's only 5. She wants to pick everything up. Of course, you got to be careful with a 5-year-old doing that. But the point is, she's like, this is not good for the environment, Mommy. And I said, you're absolutely right.
I'm always surprised when I see somebody just on island driving and tossing something out the window.
I just don't get it. How in this day and age do you think that's okay?
It's like, it's your island. Somebody why would you want to do that?
Yeah.
So.
They're just not thinking about the environment. So 19-year-old Aaron Jervis is getting ready for the Masters.
That's right.
Yeah. When's that? This weekend?
That is.
Thursday.
And Tiger Woods is going to play.
7th. That's tomorrow through the 10th. So good luck to this young man. Yes, he's Cayman's, putting Cayman on the stage right now in the world of golf. So we're wishing him all the best.
Going to rub elbows with Tiger Woods. It's pretty cool.
We could beat Tiger Woods.
He could.
He
may beat Tiger Woods.
Yeah, you never know. So good luck to Aaron. You got this. You got this, kid. Police are reminding drivers that the 15-mile-per-hour school zone should be taken seriously. And they're going to start ticketing people who seem to not want to adhere to the traffic rules. So drivers are being accused of speeding in school zones, which is a big no-no. And the school zone limits are there for a reason. So
what a novel idea. Give somebody a ticket for speeding.
Enforcing laws.
I mean, speeding tickets alone on this island could support the government.
Yeah.
Yes, I suppose if they focus on that.
Yeah.
The RCIPS also issued a statement yesterday.
They do have a department, right?
Like a whole department to do it.
Yeah, traffic. They've got traffic.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So there okay.
Yeah, they're already paying.
Wasn't sure.
They're already paying people to do this sort of thing, right?
Yes.
Just checking. The
RCIPS is reminding just totally lost my, oh, right. My apologies. They're asking the public to stop sharing photos that have been circulated, not just locally, but around the world of, the recent victims. They actually issued a statement on it yesterday, which is
terrible.
That's disgusting.
But yes, just please be reminded of that.
I don't get, it's so morbid. Yeah. What's the fascination with something like that, especially when it involves a child?
Yeah.
It's just it's just gross.
It's crazy. Yep. So those are your headlines for this Wednesday morning.
All right. We'll catch Sandy's show coming on Bobo 89.1 in 2 minutes. You got to get going.
I know.
And we'll catch you tomorrow. Have a good one. All right. You too. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right, folks. Good morning. Good morning. We do have, we're going to be checking in here with Jean at the port in just a second. Just let me grab all of my links. Enjoy a little music while I do that.
Sorrel, ginger, beaver grass, or English. Get it ready. Your morning tea just got hotter.
Ooh, child.
On the cold, hard truth. Bobo 89.1 and Cayman's #1 talk show are bringing you morning talk like no one else. Monday Rewind, Impact Wednesdays, Caribbean Connections, and much more. Don't miss a beat with what's happening in the local community. Just keep sipping your tea.
What a mess.
Here's your host, live and direct from the Cayman Islands, Sandy Hill.
Good morning, Cayman. Let's get it. Let's get it. Wake up. Get your tea ready. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. You're listening on YouTube, Facebook, or the best talk radio station in the Cayman Islands, Bobo 89.1 FM. Folks, good morning to you. Happy Wednesday. We do have a live feed coming directly from the port this morning that we're going to be pulling in just a second with Jean. But good morning to everyone. We've got Rita saying buenos dias. Virtuous is here. Wee, Miss Beverly, Karen, Olivia, Damaris, Marshall, Siobhan, Felicia, and so many more. Over 106 people already on the live stream with more to come. Let's go and see what's going on at the Cayman Islands port today. So let me give you a little bit of background information. We've got 3 cruise ships. This is the first time we've had Carnival return, and they've come back with a full load of people. They've got the Carnival Paradise, the Carnival Vista, and the Carnival Sunrise. The Paradise is carrying 2,052 persons. Carnival Vista has 3,600, and the Carnival Sunrise has 3,360. Folks, that is a total of over 9,000 persons that could potentially be disembarking on our Georgetown port this morning. Now, of course, remember, if someone is COVID positive, they will not be coming off of that ship. So the ships have protocol. Good morning, Jean.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty well, man. Just have the first couple of tenders that are in right now.
Okay, so the first couple tenders are offloading. Yes, looking like a pretty good crowd. Some people are waving at us. Very nice. So these are the early risers. Do you take a cruise ship and not get up early? Well, you better get up early if you want to catch a tender, right? So these are the early risers. Is that the very first tender there, Gene, that has come in?
No, this is actually the fourth tender now.
Oh, wow. That's the fourth tender.
So
they started right early. What time did they start coming in?
They started coming on like around 7 a.m.
Around 7 o'clock. Okay. So he said this is the fourth tender that has come in this morning. They started coming in around 7 a.m. So it looks like quite a few people coming off of the cruise ships. Again, folks, 3 cruise ships in port this morning with over 9,000 individuals. There's a family that's wearing their masks. Good on them. They're the smart family. So some cruise passengers are still wearing masks. There's a few more. Good, because I hope that they've been warned that most places that you go in the Cayman Islands will require you to wear a mask if you're indoors. But yeah, some are walking on the port dock there with their mask on. Good on them. We're getting used to the new COVID normal. Very, very good. Looks like everybody is in the mood to see the scenery here in the Cayman Islands, see the sights. There's some dancing. So we've got the quadrille dancers out this morning as well. We've got steel pan music. And so they're doing Mr. Pirate. I forget what his name is. Pirate is out this morning as well. And some government officials are also on location. I don't think the minister, have you seen the minister this morning? I'm not sure that he's back on island yet. I don't think he is.
No, he's not around yet.
Okay. So I think he returns later in the week. As you guys know, he had a death in his family in the UK. So he's been there for the past week tending to the family affairs. But I do see Mr. Strand-Bodden. Can we go over by our government officials a little bit and maybe have a quick word with them, Jean?
Sure thing.
So beautiful dancing going on. Yes, nice. Just let them know that they're live.
You guys are live on CMR.
So ask Mr. Strand if he could have a few words with us.
Hey, Mr. Strand, do you have any few words that you want to say?
I want to take a couple of pictures first. I just got here.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so he just got there and he wants to take a few pictures first. Okay. Good morning, Scott. Morning, Alex. Miss Beverly's got it locked. So, Strand seems camera shy. He said he's going to go take some pictures instead. Okay, we'll see if in a few minutes, if he's got some time to speak to people, to see what's going on. We don't see Miss Rosa there this morning, so perhaps she's running a little bit late. I'm going to find out if she's going to be at the port this morning. All right, folks listening via the radio, what we've got going on this morning is the 3 cruise ships are in, over 9,000 passengers, Carnival cruise ship. And so the government is having an official welcoming event because this is the first time that Carnival has actually returned. And as we well know, Carnival is one of I think it is the largest cruise line. So they bring a lot of business to the Cayman Islands, and they're one of our industry partners that we have to work with if we're in the cruise ship business. So good morning to Oscar. How are you, my dear? Happy Wednesday to you. So everybody's lined up nice and orderly in the lines. And like I said, I see a good number of tourists, even though they're outdoors, they're still in line and they're wearing their masks. So they're pretty smart. And there's a guy, he's just putting his on right now as he's getting closer to going through the official port of entry. Even the little kids, look at that little girl. She's got her mask on. Nice. And I do believe that up to a certain degree, they're encouraging even, our videographer, Gene, that's there this morning to keep, his distance from the tourists because, again, not everyone will be exposed to tourists. They do pose a higher risk, and that's why they were the last group of persons to be permitted to return to the Cayman Islands. And we still have safety protocols in place, folks, which I think is a good thing, especially when we see what's happening in the UK and elsewhere around the world. So not a bad thing, though. And there's Mr. Michael on the steel pans with his team, and he's got a live guitar player as well. Very nice. Beautiful. There's just something about steel pan music that I absolutely love. I mean, I can't believe that little drum and those little sticks make some beautiful music. It's gorgeous. Very nice. All right, so it looks like a good slew of individuals. They've got a tent up and people are deciding what tours they're taking. You see lots of hustle and bustle on the port this morning, folks. So I would suggest that if you don't work in cruise port, that you probably avoid Georgetown today, because that's a lot of people. But this is good. I mean, a lot of businesses will be happy for the return of cruise ships, everything from tour bus operators, tour guides, and a lot of restaurants as well. Because, one thing tourists will spend money on is food. So they do eat out at restaurants both in town and elsewhere. So we see one of the local vendors right there, just giving out wristbands to people, I guess, who are booking tours. They seem to stand in line for a bit just to get out of the port, which is interesting. But it's moving. The line is definitely moving. Yay! There's a tourist waving. Tell him hello from Cayman Mall Road.
Hi, hello from Cayman Mall Road.
Check us out when you get back home. Oh my goodness. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. So, Jean, I'm going to pull you out of the studio for just a minute. See if you can get Mr. Strand Bodden or any other official to maybe just give us a comment this morning on, what today means to them in terms of Carnival returning.
Okay, sure thing.
And then I'll keep an eye on the video to see when you're ready to jump back in.
Awesome. Will do.
Thanks, Jean. All right, folks. So that's it. We are live from the Cayman Islands port this morning. Jean's going to walk around and see if he can get any official comment on cruise ships returning to the Cayman Islands. I know that if the minister was there, he would definitely have jumped online. But as indicated, he's actually quite busy in the UK at the moment. And I think he has sporadic internet connection as well. But good morning to everyone. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As you guys know, we like to keep you updated on exactly what's happening in the Cayman Islands, oftentimes as it's happening, so that you can check it out live and direct. So beautiful morning out there today. The weather looks fantastic and the cruise shippers are coming off. So again, folks, we've got 3 cruise ships in port today, all Carnival Paradise with 2,052 passengers, Carnival Vista with 3,600, and the Carnival Sunrise with another 3,360. So those are the passenger maximum numbers. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's the exact number that's going to be coming off, because again, it depends on a number of different things. I believe they have to do certain testing protocols for the destination. So that's over 9,000 potential passengers that could be, flooding Georgetown Central today, walking around, and I'm sure you'll see them perhaps even traversing out to some of the outer districts and so on. So you see a tourist, wave at a tourist, say welcome to the Cayman Islands. A lot of times they are, sometimes when they decide to drive, they get lost as well. But there's a little bit of a fender bender this morning, folks. If you live in the Savannah, Newlands area, there's a fender bender right by what's it called? The Rubis gas station. We often call it the Savannah gas station. But it looks like something hit this car. So let's just have a look at the photos. No exact details, but folks, just slow down in the mornings. I know it sounds simple, but based on the number of accidents that we have in our roadways, I think it's not as simple as that. So we've got some early photos in. Let me just show you guys what these look like. So it's a white vehicle. Looks like something ran into it. Ooh, that back passenger door and that side door got a good bang up there. And there's the other vehicle. So it's a silver. It looks like that could be a Honda. And then some kind of white car went kaboom, and they collided with each other. Ay, ay, ay. All right. Drive as safe as you possibly can, folks. Remember, you got to look out for you, me, and all the other drivers on the roadway. Let's, I think Gene is still trying to track somebody down. We'll give him a little bit more. So we do have Kathy Wilks, who's going to be joining us a little bit later on this morning for Impact Wednesday. So in case you're new to the show, Impact Wednesday, every Wednesday, we give the current government members an opportunity to come on and talk about pretty much anything that they'd like, but we try to get them to focus on their respective constituencies so we can see, what have they been doing? Because I feel like government, the official government business has a lot of coverage. They've got GIS and other communication sources to provide that information to the general public, but a lot of times they're actually doing things within their constituencies and we have no idea what they're doing. So we give them this opportunity to come on the program, share, if they've got a constituency office, how it's being manned, and just all these other details that we're always happy for them to provide. So Kathy will be joining us this morning. We've had other MPs over the months come and join the program as well. Everyone from Mr. Kenneth Bryan to, I'm trying to remember who else has come on, Sabrina Turner. We've had some that haven't come on, but hopefully in due course, they will certainly see the benefit to them of why it's a great idea for them to come and join the people and be as transparent as possible. I was saying this to Kathy yesterday, sometimes they're doing a lot, but if the people don't know what you're doing, the people will talk and say you're doing nothing. And it's just how people are. So if you want the people to know, you simply engage with your constituencies broadly. Obviously in this show, you'll reach way more than just your constituents, and inform them of what's been going on. So I'm looking forward to having a conversation with her. It's been a little minute. Daisy, good morning, says you should have flyers with Mall Road on it and give it out to the tourists. Well, you know what, Daisy? We don't want to pollute anywhere, but I must tell you that we get a lot of Americans watching the program. And I know this because sometimes they message me and they're like, I'm from New York and I'm always tuned in, and all over the US. And the United States is actually our second largest audience outside of Cayman, which to me is a little bit weird. I thought it would be like Jamaica or Honduras or, but it's actually the US. This is true for both our website and our social media platforms. So I think Americans find us. They're into the news. They're into the sus. They want to know what's going on. So they have a really great way of finding us online, I guess, when they do their Google searches and so on. So thanks for the recommendation, Daisy. We have put up a few signs. I'm sure you guys have seen them. And I think we're going to do a few more kind of like signs that we can then collect. But yeah, spread the word. But I think most people kind of know where to find us. Good morning, Mr. Derek. How are you? He says, good morning, Sandy and Cayman. We've got Blair joining us saying, oh no, that's the last cruise line I want to see. How much trash are they bringing into our island that will end up in our landfill? Blair, it's one of those things that we have to learn how to balance it, because unfortunately, if we don't, as you say, there is an environmental impact, but I don't know anybody who works in tourism who's not going to tell you that they need these cruise ships to return. So getting rid of cruise ships entirely is not an option. Getting rid of the world's largest cruise ship is probably not an option. But I think it's just a balancing act where, of course, you put the environment first. You make sure that their footprint when they arrive in this country is as small as possible. And there are ways to do that. A lot of people were against building the port because they said that was expanding the footprint and bringing in these mega yachts when we didn't necessarily need that. And we've seen that it's probably, especially since COVID hit, is probably a good thing that we were not building the cruise ports. 2 years of no cruise tourism, however, will put you in the mindset and understand that most people want cruise ships to return. In fact, I've spoken to some businesses in town and they say make them all come. They wish 1 million people could come a day. Now I appreciated they were being, a little bit facetious, but they have been without work and without an income for so long that I'm telling you right now, they probably care very little about the environment, which is kind of sad when you think about it. But I think that's why having this sustainable element to the Premier's ministry is really, really important, because even when the people do not understand what is good for them, our leaders sometimes have to push in that direction. And, we're not just trying to be greedy for this generation. We have to have a sustainable plan that, has growth and development and opportunities for generations to come. And without a pristine and beautiful environment, what are we going to have left? But I must tell you, folks, that one of the things that, really kind of gets me to thinking every single time is when I see people out there touching things like our, starfish and picking them out of the water and taking photos with them. I'm like, my God, the starfish have gotten a bit of a break over the last 2 years. In fact, we've seen them return to Starfish, what's it called? Starfish City? Starfish Point, not Starfish, that's Stingray City. But we've seen them return in such a way that has really been amazing. And that's because no one has been out there fingering them and picking them up and annoying the poor starfish. So they're like, oh, we can exist in peace. Now, tourists are starting to come back, and there's signage out there, but I think the signage needs to be redone because the signage isn't entirely clear. And what I think the signage should say, folks, because the signage says, oh, don't take them out of the water. A lot of cruise shippers and others have said to me, oh, I thought that meant that we couldn't put them in our handbag and walk away. Okay. The interpretation of the sign is obviously really, really important. And so I think what the sign should say, to be as crystal clear as possible, is actually you should not even touch the tourists. The tourists. Well, don't touch them either, but you should not touch the starfish. Just leave them alone. Take a photo with them underwater. Most people have underwater cameras, or you can take it right above the water. But even touching them has a detrimental impact. But definitely taking them out of the water is the worst thing that you can do. So can somebody suggest this to DOE or whoever's in charge of signage at these national attractions? The Department of Environment, I think, might be the one that did these, but to ask them, please, to consider redoing the signs, because honestly, the way that they're done is too lengthy. Most people are not going to read 2 paragraphs worth of stuff on starfish. And like I said, it says something to the effect of don't take them. And, people don't get what that means, or don't take them out of the water or something like that. No touch. It should just say do not touch, and then have a big starfish X across it with someone trying to touch it. Do not touch, equals death. Like, make it as simple as possible. So Arnold Brooks, thank you so much for that additional information on the car accident. So he actually said it's a white Tesla Model Y and a silver Honda Fit that have collided this morning in the Savannah area. What a mess. Catherine says 5:30 a.m. traffic from the east. Looks like it was 8 o'clock traffic these days. Yeah, we're going to continue to have traffic woes. I know that, the NRA is having a meeting this week. Don't forget, on Thursday in Town this time. But they're moving as quickly as they possibly can to try to do some road works to alleviate and assist with the flow of traffic. But I think we're going to need more than that, to be honest. Let's check back in with Jean and see what Jean is doing. Good morning, Jean. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going? Just showcasing around. I'm still trying to get with some of the ministers to get online, but they're a bit occupied at the moment.
So Mr. Strand is taking photos, or?
No, he's actually right there orchestrating something with another guy.
Okay.
So I don't want to bother him too much. So
Yeah.
I'm showcasing. You guys out here.
Okay. So apparently the deputy director of tourism is supposed to be there. I don't even know who the deputy is. Let me see if I can find out who else you could potentially ask for, to see if anybody wants to give a bit of a statement on the return of Carnival today. Good morning, KK. So she says, is it official now that cruise ships will be in every day, every other day as before? Well, yeah, I mean, we've reopened to cruise ships, so it's pretty open. I think they've been coming in relatively frequently as well. Alicia, good morning. Bishop Blair is here. He says, great work you're doing. So glad to see ships coming in again. Quincy Brown sending greetings from the BRAC. Good morning to Quincy. Good morning. Oh, KK says the accident with the Teslas in town. I don't think that's the photos that we received, though. We must be talking about different. So there's more than one accident already this morning, perhaps. James is watching us from Canada. Good morning, James. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I suspect that these might be two different accident photos. All right. Well, folks, I'm sure that you guys will know there's no two accidents this morning, so just be careful out there. So lots of people there at the port, folks. Looks like everybody is up and at 'em now. They've gotten up now and they're coming in the tenders. Wow. Good morning to Irvelin. All right, well, if nobody's going to say hi to us in an official capacity, I understand Miss Heather's there. So let's see, Jane, just hang tight and let me see if we can get someone.
Sure thing, I'll be right here.
Okay. All right, so we'll see if we can get some official comments. I'm just going to pull you back out, Jean, for 1 second. A little bit of multitasking this morning, my friends. So we'll see. I think Miss Heather has just arrived. We'll see if Miss Heather Bodden, MP for the Savannah area, is willing to give a little statement. But unfortunately, Miss Strand Bodden seemed occupied with taking some photos. I thought they would have had photographers. For that this morning. Okay, so Irvelin is saying she is wondering if the people can't read the signage, at different places. And quite honestly, Irvelin, you might be being funny, but I think that that is probably a valid point. We do get tourists who English might not be their first language, and people might have different levels of reading and comprehension from all over the world. So I think that's why you make a sign as simple as possible. The other thing I want to say about Starfish Point is that the tour operators, I feel, have an obligation to also do their part, which they don't seem to do. So a lot of them are actually encouraging tourists to touch and take these photo ops because it makes the tourists happy. When in fact, what they should be doing is telling them we need to respect the environment. We can enjoy the environment, but at the same time, we need to ensure that we are doing what is in the best interest of the environment so that we can continue to have these things to look at and to enjoy visually. Soon we'll be walking around in, this artificial intelligence world where you got to wear goggles to see what used to be there. They'll put in a bunch of, starfish in the what do you call those AR AI type goggles, because they won't exist in the real world, which is really, really unfortunate. So, folks, this is the reality that we're going to be living with if we don't start to respect Mother Nature. So signage could definitely be improved. And I also think that the tour guides need to do their part. They need to encourage people, as they're getting off. Same thing with the stingrays. Encourage them. The stingrays are beautiful. They can be touched underwater. We'll give you some, fish or whatever they eat to feed them underwater, but do not lift them up. This whole thing that they tell them about, kissing a stingray will give you good luck for 7 years is ridiculous. You go under the water to kiss the stingrays. Don't lift them out of the water. It's not good for them. And we have seen over the years that their numbers have declined, and their weight, despite the fact that we're like hand feeding them every day, they're not as big and as luxurious as they used to be. And that is directly because of human contact. So again, I'm really begging people to be considerate when they're handling those things. So I think Miss Heather is ready for us. So let's go back to the live stream with Jean, who's at the port this morning. Good morning. Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning, guys. How do you guys feel about Carnival being back on the island?
We're happy and excited for them. The waters are now covered with beautiful ships that were welcomed this morning, and there's several Belgian people that came off and are now excited to be here on this beautiful island of ours. So yes, lots of excitement.
As Ms. Heather is saying, we're so excited to see 3 ships in today. We know what it means for our tour operators, because when you see them outside, they're bustling. This is what they do, right? Share Cayman time with our visitors. So they're amazing. We want to just thank them all for coming out and just showing Cayman time to the world. So we appreciate them so much.
Okay, wonderful.
Enjoy yourself, guys. Like waiting for the ships to arrive any longer. They're here. The waters have company this morning, and I could feel the excitement, and I could feel all of the happiness from the tour operators this morning as we walked in. So I'm just excited for them. They needed this break. They needed to see visitors back on our island, and the visitors are all happy. They're very, very happy.
Thank you so much, Ms. Heather. Thank you,
Awesome.
Mr.
Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, folks. So that was Heather Bodden, MP for the Savannah area, and Mr. Strand Bodden joining us from the Department of Tourism. Well, he's with the ministry. And yes, he is the chief officer for Ministry of Tourism and Transport. So it's fantastic to have the cruise ships back on board. Jean, thank you so much. We appreciate you bringing the feed to us live this morning so that our audience can see a little bit of the action that's happening.
Awesome. I'm happy you guys loving what you're seeing. Happy to do it. Pleasure.
Okay. Have a good one.
Awesome. Have a good day, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See ya.
All right, folks. So we finally got an opportunity to speak to Miss Heather. She basically, in case it was a little bit low on the audio, but she expressed that, a lot of people are happy that the cruise ships are back. And, it's a momentous occasion. Mr. Strand said, listen, the cruise industry workers, the tour guides and so on, you can see the excitement, in them to be back out to work. And I guess now all of you know what this means, that if you have been receiving the stipend, that's going to soon be gone. So start budgeting and getting ready for it. Don't come with any excuses now about you're not ready yet to be weaned off the stipend. We pretty much reopened, I would say, as close to 100% at this stage as we can, with some measures still in place. But yes, folks, cruise tourism is back almost at 100%, I would say. So good morning to Lizette. KK says the accident with the Tesla. Yes, thank you for clarifying that. That one was by Cricket Square. So there was one in Savannah, which I think the one in Savannah was a car tire might have fallen off or something. And then the accident with the Tesla and the Honda Fit are in Georgetown by Cricket Field. So good morning to Quincy again. He's saying good morning to everyone. Richard is joining us from Round Rock, Texas on the live stream. Debbie is also here. Dr. Tahir says, good morning, Sandra. Thanks for the updates that you provide to us daily. You are most welcome. How are you, Doc? Louisa, good morning to everyone. Everton is also here. Everton says, good morning, Sandy. I'm so glad that the island is open back so I could come on vacation and visit Stingray City. The first time I went to that place, I was so excited. I never saw such a beautiful attraction and I enjoyed every moment of it. Well, that's fantastic. And just be reminded, Everton, touch them underwater, but don't take them out. Don't try to kiss them or anything else like that. The good luck thing really isn't true, just in case you're wondering. So yes, I think it's fantastic. There are a lot of people who would have been waiting to return. In fact, anybody out there who's in the cruise industry this morning, are you excited? Give us a call. 936-2626 is the number. Tell us how much the cruise ships returning, or just, even the planes now coming back in on a daily basis. How much has that impacted your life? Are you back to work 100%? Is it 80%? Is it 50% of where you were previously? We know it's going to take a little while to kind of gear up to probably where you were in terms of the recovery numbers, right? But they are coming. And, during the pandemic, it was so strange to even hear a plane in our airspace. And now, yesterday I was in South Sound, picked up my daughter from school, and there goes, I forgot what airline. I want to say it was an American, but it was one of the other airlines based on the design of the plane. But yeah, it just went right overhead, coming back in. And I said, yep, we're pretty much back to normal. I'm planning and traveling myself, hopefully soon, if I can get a passport back in time. But yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. But did you guys see the news with the UK having okay, so Miss Kathy's having some issues. All right, so she should be coming in soon. Okay. All righty. We'll give her a bit of time to come in. But I was saying, did you guys see the news about the UK having all of a sudden an increase in all of their numbers in terms of infections, and having to shut down? British Airways is having to go, oops, I guess maybe we should have removed that mask mandate. All right, we've got MP Catherine Ebanks joining us this morning. Good morning, MP Ebanks. How are you?
Good morning, Sandra. I am good. Good morning to all of your listening and viewing audience.
Thank you.
I was hoping to join you by video this morning, but having some technical difficulties, and I am driving, so I thought I would take advantage of your line for the radio.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Well, thank you for calling in. I don't know where you're driving to, but hopefully you can spend a little bit of time with us this morning.
Oh, yes. So I'm actually right now on the waterfront. So I'm passing all of the cruise ships that are out here.
Yes.
Of course, there's a little bit of traffic as a result of that, but I think everyone, all the drivers are probably understanding, as we've been long awaiting to see these streets busy again.
For sure. I was saying this morning that it's a bit of a balancing act. There's some people who will say to you, they don't want cruise ships to return at all for a number of different reasons. They enjoyed the peace and quiet in Georgetown. They enjoyed, the environment probably getting a bit of a break. But, the world has to get back to normal. And I think that, we need to do certain things to try to reduce our footprint. What are your thoughts on how the government can work towards reducing the footprint, whether it's tourism or even as a country? We've got the Earth Day cleanup that's coming up here a bit later on in April. And, the chamber's out there begging people to come forward and volunteer for the Earth Day cleanup. What are some ways in your constituency that you see that you could potentially reduce our carbon footprint, our environmental footprint on Mother Earth?
Well, I guess before I answer that question, I just want to say that I agree, with the needing to have a balance in terms of any aspect of running the country. We look at cruise tourism, and yes, I myself, I enjoyed the peace and tranquility of driving on waterfront every morning when I drop my daughter to school and looking at the ocean. And so that's all been nice. But at the same time, when you walk on the streets in West Bay, a lot of these cruise port operators and, the water sports operators, this is their livelihood. And they have been patiently waiting. The government has taken a very conservative approach to reopening our borders, which meant that a lot of these individuals, they suffered for a very long time. And I just want to, just express, my gratitude to all of those individuals, because they certainly have been resilient. I know some of the guys in my area that worked on the boats. I mean, like, they found anything they could do just to make a dollar. Some of those guys were out cleaning the streets with me, So I just wanted to just say that whilst it's very important for us to focus on, climate change and ensuring that we protect our environment, people still have to live. So we have to find a balance. Do I have the answer for that? Not at the moment, but it's something that we really need to spend a lot of time focusing on as a government. Now, to answer your question, in my district, I think that one of the things that we're going to see very soon is the traffic is going to start to increase again, because there's lots of developments that are more than halfway completed, and these are residential developments. So once they're finished, the traffic is going to significantly change. And one of the things that I'm hoping to do is to work closely with the Minister of Transport to see how we can, get the public transport, up and going in a way which it's fit for purpose, and it gives, every resident, the incentive to want to catch the bus. I caught the bus the other day to Parliament. My sister caught the bus today because she couldn't find her car keys. But we want to have it where if there's a mother or father that's in West Bay or in Georgetown or in Northside that wants to catch the bus and drop their kids to school, which is off of the main route. These things are available and attractive, and I think that's one of the ways that we can start to work on our carbon footprint, Sandra. And then another thing that I think we really need to focus on is the litter. I'm hoping that once Minister Bryan and Parliamentary Secretary Bodden roll out their beautification committee, which is going to be more of an enforcement committee, we will see more, civic pride sort of being rebirthed in our country.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that there's some key things there for sure that we can do. Reducing, the amount of litter. Like Blake and Aaron were saying this morning, it's always heartbreaking to see people who clearly do not care about the environment and will actually just throw trash out of vehicles, or there's dumping grounds. I don't know if you saw that photo that we had put up at, I think it was about maybe a week or so ago, down in Belford Estates. There was an entire area where people had made it a dumping ground for just every kind of possible litter. And we had a viewer to the program, a fan of the show, who sent us the footage of this. And she said, Miss Sandy, this is absolutely disgusting. Is there anything that can be done about this? And I'm happy to say that we did post it, and I sent a photo of or the video of it to Mr. Richard Sims, who's head of the Department of Environment, and he took the time to make sure that it was cleaned up. But as it turns out, that dumping ground in Belford Estates is actually a piece of private property. So, if you are a
Oh.
private landowner, not that the private landowner was the one who was doing all of the dumping, but if you are a private landowner, folks, you need to ensure that your property isn't being used for illegal dumping. And I find that what happens is if people just see it there and it's cleared and they can just push their garbage onto it, old mattresses and everything else, they're going to do that. And I mean, I was really shocked that it had been going on and there was quite a bit of debris. I'm just trying to see if I can pull up the video here. But, what's the solution to something like that, Kathy? Is it a situation where we need to have, because I know on an annual basis or semi-annually, we'll do like around Christmas time, the bulk waste pickup. Do we need to have more bulk waste locations that people can take that sort of stuff?
Yes, Sandra, I think that is probably one of the ways in which we can address it. I still believe that we need to have, more enforcement of our, well, not even more, there really hasn't been. There needs to be enforcement of our litter law, and we need to start finding individuals who do such a horrible act. I mean, we have the same issue in West Bay, down at Barcus, individuals will drop things like bed mattresses, And so what we the West Bay MPs did, I think it was late last year, which we probably need to try to do that more frequently, is we set up some of those big bins. We even set one up out at Barker's because we thought, well, if individuals are going to come out here and dump, let's give them something to dump the garbage in. But there were some residents that felt that by putting the bin out there, we were encouraging people to come to that area to dump the garbage. So we did set up the bins, but we only did it, for one, I think it was probably for about 3 weeks. And one of the things that we've been speaking about doing is setting the large dumpsters in various areas of West Bay every 3 months.
Yeah, I mean,
some people just can't get to the dump, and it's just that simple.
Absolutely.
Somebody can, but at the same time, we also have to remember that we have to keep our environment as clean as we can.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that, it's unfortunate that people might not even, some people may not know where Mount Trashmore is located. I was shocked. I was looking at Google Maps the other day, trying to find something in the area, and it's actually called by Google Mount Trashmore. And I had a little chuckle when I saw that, but it's kind of also a sad indictment on us, right? But I mean, you're right. I mean, I have never personally been to like inside the landfill. I've been in the area, obviously, if there's a fire, to take photos or video coverage or whatever, but I've actually never been in the landfill. But I can't really think that I've ever had a mattress that I'm just going to throw out. I try to recycle, Kathy. Like what let's say is one man's trash is another man's treasure. So, for example, over the past years now, I've been doing, home renovations. I've been doing window treatments, and I'm on a budget, child. So I could only afford sometimes to do one window at a time, Right. And so every time I would do a window or do a room that has multiple windows, I would take down the existing blinds because there was nothing wrong with them. I was just changing them out to a particular look and style that I wanted. And I would post up, hey, I've got some blinds available. The last time I had 6 blinds and they went so quickly that it was amazing. But, I had all the screws, I had the little brackets, like everything for someone to take. All they needed was a little man or a woman with a drill who knew what they were doing. They could put those up in their homes. And I was pleased to see that it was 2 women who ended up getting the blinds, and they're both moms, in a little bit of a tight spot financially. So they were able to benefit from that. But I think a lot of times when we go to throw stuff away, we could also be repurposing it, right? Somebody else can take it and like make it into something, or, if it's something that needs a really good cleaning. I think a mattress is kind of one of those things where, a lot of people don't necessarily like a used mattress, and, some things do have a lifespan. Like you're not supposed to sleep in a mattress forever. It kind of, doesn't support you the way that it should. But right. I do believe that there are a lot of things that we want to discard and we want to throw out that somebody else could, saw down, put on a fresh coat of paint, and totally repurpose. And so sometimes there's, I think, 1 or 2 Facebook groups where you can give Cayman freebies or something. There's EK Trade. There's ways that you can stick something up and say, hey, does anybody want this? It's for free. Just take it. You know, you're
Exactly.
trying to get it off your hands, but instead of just throwing it in the garbage or throwing it in the dump, it is something that other people can use. And there are people out there who are, you know, homeless, or they might not have certain accommodations in their homes. And if you're getting rid of a little coffee table or something else, just because it's got nicks or scratches on it, again, that is something that they could paint over, that they could varnish, that they could do all sorts of things with. So there's more than one way, I believe, in which we can reduce our immediate footprint on Mother Earth, and we can encourage each other to just be a little bit more sensible when it comes to even consumers and what we do with all the consumer goods and stuff that
But
we have in our possession.
one of the things that I've been trying to do myself, and I'm hoping to roll out an initiative with recycling
Mhm.
is, well, I think that we are really having a slow uptake with persons recycling. Of course, we have those individuals that are, you know, very conscious of the importance that it has on the environment, but there are a lot of people that do not understand, you
Mhm.
know, how beneficial it is for us to recycle. And one of the things that I really would like to see locally is even just for every resident to just make a conscious decision to recycle glass. If we just start with glass, let's just recycle glass, because
Mm.
as far as I am aware, and I want to double check this, and Sandra, if you know, you can correct me, but I believe glass is the only thing that we are recycling locally. Um, I'm pretty sure when I got a presentation before about recycling,
Mhm.
but I'm going to confirm that. But if that is the case, if we are recycling glass here, because, you know, they're putting it into some of the materials that they put on the ground, on the roads and
Mhm.
pavements, if that's the case, then that should be something that it should be mandatory, really, you know, that we're
Yes.
recycling glass. But because it isn't, you know, then we need to do our part with trying to incentivize, you know, recycling.
Yeah. And you know what is so interesting, Kathy? Somebody just told me that the correct term for what I'm talking about is upcycling. I told them,
That's
I
right.
told them,
That's
and
right.
this is what I said. I'm like, you and your fancy words, child. But
Yeah.
upcycling is where, you know, you give it to somebody else and then they can repurpose it. And I mean, that's fantastic, right?
And
But
there's that young Caymanian artist. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I
no,
can't
that's
quite
okay.
remember her name now. The young Caymanian artist that has been working along with Al Ebanks, and that's what she does.
Mhm.
She's from West Bay, you know, and she takes a piece of furniture that's been, you know, broken, and she completely transforms it into something that's beautiful. So
Yeah. Well, I was just kind of reminiscing when you were talking about that. You know, I'm in my 40s now. Yay. Yay. Hey, we're still kicking. But
yay.
I remember when I was living in the States, and I would have been like in junior high school or high school. And my uncle at the time, who's, you know, long passed away, him and I used to go to like the recycling, I don't even know what it was called, facility or whatever in Tampa. And so we would pick up glass, and I think we only got paid for glass. I don't think they were really doing plastic yet, but we would get paid for the glass bottle. So it was always an
Right.
incentive, like you get 5 cents a bottle or whatever.
Exactly.
And that would be my allowance money if I helped him to collect it and go with him and return it in, and they'd count like how many pieces you had and whatever. He would let me keep the money from our recycling efforts. And I wasn't really thinking about, oh, I'm recycling to like help Mother Earth. I was like, oh, I'm going to get $10 that I can go to the store and spend and whatever. Right. So that was my motivation. It was very selfish, but you know, there was some sort of incentive there, even as a child, for me to do it. And I think that when we talk about becoming a much more environmentally conscious group of people and community and country, we have to make sure that we're giving our children the right tools to understand
Right.
what is happening with the environment and why we should care. I mean, my daughter does go to a private school, and they teach her a lot of different things, and they focus a lot on the environment, because everywhere she goes and she sees trash, she's really bothered by it. and she wants to pick it all up. Now I have to caution her against just picking up stuff off the ground. You know, I'm like, okay, you've got to be careful because, you know, it's dirty. It's got germs. If it's a piece of glass, like she saw a piece of glass a couple days ago, it was like green glass. She's like, I'm going to take that to my teacher. I'm like, oh, be careful because you can cut yourself. But, you know, she's in this mindset already, and she's only 5 years old. She'll see a piece of garbage and she'll comment on it. That's horrible, mommy. Why do people do this to the earth? Why are they throwing this down on the ground? You know, and I'm just like, people are irresponsible. And I said, sometimes people don't care about Mother Earth as much as we should. So I don't necessarily want her picking it all up, but I do appreciate the fact that she's already very, very conscious about it. She sees it and it makes her pause and think, and she wants to do something about it. And, you know, that's a lot of our young people. I think we could be molding them in that direction so that they can start taking more corrective actions. And as someone said earlier on 106, I think it was Aaron made the suggestion that why don't we have a community day cleanup every single month? You know, we look at Earth Day as like a big day when we go out there. And my hat's off, by the way. There are a lot of environmental organizations. Their names are evading me at the moment, but they do regular beach cleanups. Let me see if I can remember. Help me out, Kathy, here, because I know you've been involved with some of them.
Yeah, I know one was Plastic Free Cayman. They are normally going to clean up Barkers.
Yep. So they do a wonderful job, and they're constantly, every time they go and do a big cleanup, you know, they're sending us their photos, and I'm always appalled at the amount of debris and garbage that is on our shorelines in particular, but just in different areas of the island. You know, it's like, wow. And to be fair, sometimes the debris that we see on the shorelines is being brought in by the currents from other places around the world.
So the shoreline garbage, you can kind of understand that that's we're getting garbage from all around the world that's washing up on our shores. For me, where I see a strong indication that we really have to do more awareness campaigns, and like you spoke about your daughter, I think that's where it starts. It starts in the schools with talking to the children and making them more aware on, you know, what happens when you throw something on the ground. But if you look at the cleanups, we do the Earth Day cleanup, right? On Earth Day, 2 or 3 days later, it looks like it was never done. I see that in West Bay, you know, in West Bay Central. I have 2 guys that they come to look for me, you know, quite often. And when they come to visit me, I have them go and say, hey, go pick up the garbage off of, you know, Bankers Road, or go pick up the garbage off of, you know, whatever street it is on. But when you go back 2 or 3 days later, it looks like those guys never did go to pick up the garbage. So I'm hoping that, I think that, you know, the person that made that suggestion about doing the monthly cleanups, that is great, because the more that it's cleaned, you know, you would hope that somebody would say, boy, this road look really clean. You know, those guys were out there yesterday picking up the stuff. I'm going to keep my bag of chips until I get home and put it in the garbage.
Absolutely.
So hopefully we'll get there.
Yeah. And, you know, just little things that we can do. So thank you to Alric Lindsay. He's listening to the program, and he, as we know, is very, very environmentally conscious, and he's always out there picking up garbage all over the place. And he says that Protect Your Future, K-Ocean, and Plastic Free Cayman are some of the local organizations that are constantly out there trying to do their part. So folks, you can become part of an organization like that. These are nonprofit organizations that are organized, and they, you know, do regular cleanup efforts. Or you can just take your family, take your kids out and make it something that you do as a family, some family bonding time. So I just want to show you guys just quickly the video footage of the before and after for this location in Belfort Estate. So just, I know, Kathy, you won't be able to see it, and our radio listeners won't be able to see it, but just have a look at this, and I'll do my best to kind of describe what's going on. So this lady sent some footage here. My apologies, it's a little bit on the shaky side, but we see all sorts of debris in the bushes.
This is a little dump, Miss Sandra.
Plastic, look at all the garbage bags. Mattress. Some of it I can't even tell, but tons of old tires.
This is located in Bodden Town. in Belford at Wild Street. They are making right here a little dump.
Oh my God.
So I'm
It's
just
deplorable.
videoing this
Hmm.
to send it to you to see if somebody can clean up this mess. It is so terrible around this side. Everybody is dumping things there.
Wow.
So I know you can do the job, Miss Sandra. So I'm gonna.
Thank you to that viewer, and she tasked me with getting it done. And look at that was the before. So we saw mattresses, plastic bottles, garbage bags, and it's like one person decides to dump something there, and all of a sudden everybody else is like, oh, okay, since one person was irresponsible and dumping in the environment, let me do it as well. We've got old vehicles that are, allowing oil to be seeped into the ground, into the water table. I mean, it's just unbelievable how people will not care about even their own life and safety, because these things are not safe for people in the communities. But big shout out to the Department of Environment, Mr. Richard Sims, who saw the video and then took it upon himself to do this. Check this out. Now all of the debris, all the mattresses gone, still a few plastic cups, but they break those things up. This is a significant difference compared to what was there before. So much better. And I want to take my hats off to them, because sometimes I will send him different photos of a particular location and say, hey, we've been alerted to this situation, and we're wondering if you're able to get out there and clean it up. And it seems like they're always happy to do so. So big shout out to them. I'm going to show you guys another photo that someone sent. That here's this one. This is at a beach. This was, let me try to remember where this one was, and I'll tell you. Someone sent this, and they said, Miss Sandra, look at the garbage. And this guy's just sitting there next to it practically. They said, oh yes, this was down by the old Victoria House on West Bay Road, and which is close to Christopher Columbus. Folks, this is a tourist area, and look at the amount of garbage just strewn all over by those big, beautiful, what kind of trees are these? Do you remember what these trees are called, Kathy? Oh, you can't see it, never mind. Sorry. Yeah. These are the ones that they've got the huge trunks. I don't know what they're called, but they're beautiful trees along. They tend to be very close on to the public beach area. And look at just all the garbage just strewn there. And there's a couple of people just kind of sitting there. And again, I'm shocked and surprised that when you sit among debris like this, that it doesn't bother you. It doesn't seem to bother certain people. So folks, we can individually do our part, and then collectively we can do our part as well. So let me just read some comments. So KK talking about the Starfish earlier, she said the cruise tour guides are to blame. They go out there with tourists and act if they own and run the show. And Miss Juanita agrees. She says, yep, what a mess. And KK also says that a lot of persons in tourism are not back out yet. Well, they better get up and get out there. Aquaman 345 says, good morning, Sandy. Keep this show going. This is well needed. Let's keep the tourists informed and not tarnish our environment. Thank you so much, Aquaman. Miss Carol commenting, I think, to someone about the mask. And Marjorie says that Cuba has opened up with no testing. They sure have. We'll talk about that here in a second. Now, since we're on the discussion of the environment and cleaning up the environment, let's take this opportunity to remind you guys that Earth Day cleanup is coming up. So contact the Chamber of Commerce. They will assist you with, lots of materials to get the job done if you need anything. And we also are being reminded by the Department of Environment, here's a good reminder, that they have some recommendations for cleaning up the environment and doing it safely. So if you're an organization and you want to put together some volunteers to celebrate Earth Day on Friday, April the 22nd, but of course the official Chamber cleanup day is going to be on the Saturday, the Department of Environmental Health is reminding the public that assistance can be provided by way of gloves, garbage bags, and pickup of collected garbage after community beach and or roadside cleanup activity. So all you have to do is visit deh.gov.ky, download the community cleanup assistance request form. So there's an actual form. Email it then to DEH customer service. cleanup.gov.ky at least 2 weeks before the day of your activity. So folks, here we are now, 2 weeks out. So this is the perfect time to do it. And then they will facilitate the coordination of resources and manpower to actually, once you put it out by the roadside or wherever you're going to put it, you'd let them know, and they'll make sure that that gets done. So this is a great initiative by the Department of Environment. We'll make sure that we put this up on the website with all of the details of the email address and everything in case you're interested. So they're encouraging people to be careful, because of course you can injure yourself when you're out there doing a beach cleanup. So please wear a hat, wear sunscreen to protect yourself from the sun. Start as early as possible in the day, because you know heat stroke is a real thing. Wear gloves, wear closed-toed shoes, no flip-flops or barefoot. When handling sharp objects and so on, make sure that you, again, are handling them carefully. Don't lift any heavy objects such as logs and other large debris. Leave driftwood and other natural items on the beach. And try to be cautious not to trample plants that grow by the seaside in the grassy areas, because that's part of, you know, what the environment does to help to repair itself. And again, you place all of the garbage in bags along the roadway in designated areas that can be highly visible and easy to access by the Department of Environmental Health. And then, you know, if you put like, if you've already kind of pre-sorted recyclable materials, like if one bag is just for plastics and one bag is just for glass, you can actually label it somehow. And then they'll know that that's not just a collection of all sorts of different debris, but they can take that as just glass and so on. So some good recommendations here coming out of the Department of Environmental Health. And they say, you know, be careful of hazardous material, folks, because remember now there are tons of needles on the beach, unfortunately, syringes, medical waste, and those are the types of things that you should not touch. Now, I don't know how easy it is to get a hold of, you know, the little things that you can use to pick up trash. I don't know what they're called, but those kind of little grabbers. Yeah. I don't know how easy they are to get in the local stores, but in my mind, when you're doing a cleanup, those are always a good investment.
They're like $12 from A.L. Thompson's or Uncle Bill's.
Nice. Good and affordable.
And another great thing, or another suggestion I would make is, I find that garden gloves are better to use than the plastic disposable ones, because when you're dealing with those sharp objects, you know, at least your hands are more protected.
Absolutely. Yes. The Ugly Truth says Cayman has a new culture now, added with the already nasty homegrown set. Again, talking about people who don't seem to care about the environment and who are constantly, you know, throwing debris around. So Melissa, good morning to you. Miss Wanda says in Canada, we pay 5 cents when we buy the plastic water bottles and wine, and then get part of it back when we bring it back to the recycling depot. Thank you so much for that. Good morning. Again, Alric is listening to the show online. Miss Karen says maybe one flyer with information onto it about boxes and shop counters. That's a good way to advertise recycling. Yeah, I think we just need to get the word out there more and more, like talk to people about what they're doing and start by example. Like, I think we can all do a little something, and then, you know, encourage your kids and encourage people in your household to take a more proactive approach. And then you'd be surprised how it catches on. It's contagious. Doing the right thing is contagious, folks. So Marshall says, this is disgusting. The people that are dumping that garbage on that property should be ashamed of themselves. It's shameful. But, you know, like I said, what ends up happening is it becomes so normalized when you see other people do it. And then you hear people say, well, everybody's doing it. And it's like, well, that isn't true. But if a vast majority of people are doing it, it becomes normalized and you see it as nothing being out of the ordinary. You know, Kathy, when I travel, one of the biggest things that stands up for me immediately is how clean the environment is. And I always link, and there's a good degree of truth to this, much poorer third world countries with litter problems. Because when I go into a certain country and I'm like, wow, I'm taken aback by the littering and the debris on the roadway. And, you know, I'm just like, wow, the garbage overflowing and all these sorts of things. To me, that's indicative of a country that doesn't have the available resources to try to do regular garbage pickups or try to keep the environment clean. But it's also mentality, I think, that people have. So I do agree with who made that comment about, we have people, the ugly truth says we have people who we might import with that type of mentality, but then we also have our own homegrown people who have either adopted that mentality or they've always been like that. Let's be honest. There's some people who live, you go and see where they live, and it's like, it's a pigsty. Now, this has nothing to do with how much your house costs or anything like that. You can have the poorest house on the block and you can keep your yard neat and clean and, bag up your garbage. You sweep your house every day. You make sure your yard looks decent. So it doesn't have anything to do with necessarily your economic position in life. Now, you could argue that people with more disposable income have people who can do it for them. Well, maybe. But, you can do it yourself. So you can keep your yard clean, even if you just live in a little 1-bedroom facility, and make sure that your place looks presentable and it looks good. It's kind of like it reminds me of my Aunt Lottie, Pearls of Wisdom. She always said, listen, you might not have the most fancy clothes in the world or whatever, but you make sure that you're clean, you wash your clothes properly, you present yourself, and you go out there and just give it 100% every single day. Like nobody needs to know that you only have $5 in your bank account.
Exactly.
But, you still carry yourself with some degree of standards in life.
And sometimes I think that our ancestors would roll over in their graves because the Cayman of 1960s, 70s, 80s, a lot of those, and before that, we had many Caymanians who were poor, single income homes. You had the men off to sea, but everybody took pride, even to the point where they didn't want to have dirty sand in their front yards. So it's like, to see how our country is being kept now. When back in those days, poor wasn't an excuse, because the whole mantra was cleanliness is next to godliness.
Absolutely.
So somewhere along the line we've lost it. And I don't know if that's an indication of our culture being watered down, or if it's just life pressures have gotten to some people and they just feel that they don't have the time to go and do the things that our ancestors did. So does that mean that instead of building stronger people, we are not? These are questions that sometimes I think about.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you so much to our active listeners. Miss Marjorie says, make an extra effort to find out who put them there and charge them. Richard says, especially on a little rock like Cayman, it's imperative that our precious environment be protected. Janita, thank you so much. She says, those are the casuarina trees, or Soka says they're also known as weeping willows. Yes. Yeah, they're so beautiful. Thank you so much, guys.
But it's the sound, the little howl that they make.
Yeah,
it's so calming.
So Marshall says that they did a great job cleaning it up, but now they need to monitor it and prosecute if they litter. So I'll inform you that Mr. Sims did say to me that is private property, and so they were going to reach out to the landowner, to ensure that, because I said, oh, that looks great. Can we get a no dumping sign? Because it seems like people think it's a dumping ground. So he said it is private property, so they can't just erect the sign, but they would reach out to the property owner to see if they could have that done. So again, this is a vacant piece of property. There's nothing built on it. But if you own property like this, folks, I think you should be checking on your vacant properties every once in a while. And if you notice people are starting to dump there, one thing to do is put up a sign that says no dumping. And of course, we need more of those signs around the community where we reminded that it is actually illegal to dump, and there is a fine that I'm sure needs to be increased. $500 for dumping in the environment is simply not enough. That should be a minimum of a $2,500 fine, and we should try to enforce it. So Marshall says, the guy who was sitting on the beach next to the garbage is more than likely used to that kind of environment. Yeah, I wouldn't sit that close to garbage. You know what I mean? Because I'd be like, ew, like I'd find somewhere else to sit. But there you have it. Charles, good morning, Mr. Charles. He says it seems clear that cruise tourists have an easier time visiting Grand Cayman than those who want to stay on the island. Not really. You can come on the plane and you can stay. Miss Karen says maybe a store located in each district so that folks can get and refurbished items to help less fortunate families island-wide. That's not a bad idea to have almost like a repository where, I mean, like I said, normally I just post it on Facebook and you do find people who are in need, right? But maybe, Kathy, we're going to give you a free idea this morning. I love to give free ideas, even at the constituency office, I know you do like the food bank, for example, but what if you once a month had almost like a thrift day where people people can come and bring stuff they no longer need. And then that same day, people who are looking for stuff can come and take what they want.
I probably need to advertise it properly, because what has already started happening is there are, some women in the community that have gone through their closets and they had really nice dresses that they wanted to, normally they drive to town and drop them at Red Cross, and they wanted to see if there was anybody in the neighborhood that would be able to use it. I didn't even really have to put a post up, it was sort of dropped off and somebody else came and picked it up. But it's a great idea and something that I would look into, maybe, doing something formally like on a Saturday outside, sort of like a garage sale, but everything is, for free.
Do it once a month. Do it once a month. And you know
Once a
what?
month.
Even myself, I need to clear out my closet soon, because child, I need a wardrobe reboot. But I have some things that have tags on them. And during the pandemic, I tried to have somebody else shop for me. Now, she was really good with getting me bottoms, but top, I'm a little bit top heavy. So sometimes, what I like for top, she didn't quite hit the mark on the tops. So I have a lot of tops that are brand new, never worn. They might even still have the tag on them, shall I? Because I don't even know if I took the tag off. But they're not even really my style. But definitely, they look good. Somebody could wear them in a professional office environment. So if somebody will do, call it whatever you want, maybe thrift day or whatever isn't the right word, but come up with something that sounds exciting. And, I'm happy to drop off my stuff. My daughter's starting to finally grow. Child, I think she might be 25 pounds now. But, she's coming out of some of the 4Ts and stuff. And, I always pack up her stuff and try to donate to somebody else. Like I said, there's always someone out there who could use your items that you no longer need. So I think that's a fantastic idea, Kathy. Do it once a month. Do it once a month at your constituency office.
I will certainly take that task on.
So Marshall says, I was not doing any kind of recycling until I came to the US, and now it's in me to recycle everything that is recyclable. I'm telling you, it is a mindset. Because once you go in that environment, they give you your little bins. You got your color-coded bins. You become like the odd guy out in the neighborhood if you're not putting out your recycling bins at the curb. Because it's just so ingrained in everybody's minds. So folks, do not forget, Miss Kathy Wilks is on the line, but you can still call in. Apparently we can do 3-4-way call-in, I've discovered. 936, Bobo is the number, 936-2626. Nat B says, why can't we enforce the litter laws?
Well, that's what I was speaking of earlier, but I don't want to steal the shine from Minister Brian, but that is something that he's going to be rolling out very soon with his beautification initiative.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think it's just one of those laws that have been on the books for a really long time, and it seems to have little to no enforcement. So good morning, Blair. Blair says, make people scared to litter. How hard? Find people left and right and make a point. I would never litter in Florida. They are on it. I think they even have cameras. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Blair. But I think even just like how they have the traffic cameras, they have cameras that if they catch you littering, you'll get in trouble for that too. Yeah. Catherine, thank you. Miss Karen, sorry, says that it does not cost to put garbage in a bag. Introduce lessons in schools and preschools. And to my point, Ms. Karen, that I was making earlier, the sooner you start educating your children from kindergarten, got to recycle. We have to care about the environment. You don't throw things down. Even in my car, I keep a little bag that I put, you might have something in the car that is garbage. I put it all in the little bag, and my daughter knows, because kids like to stuff things in their car seats in the little holes. And then 2 days later, you find like a piece of bun in there that now has mold on it.
Oh, goodness.
Oh my God, trust me. Some days it's like, what's in that hole? My daughter used to pour water in there. Like, she'd get bored in the back seat and she'd be pouring water. And I'd come out, I'm like, why is there water all over? Oh, I was pouring the water in the hole in the cup. So, now she's a little bit older and she knows we got a designated bag. Like, if you've got something that is garbage, we put it in this bag. We don't just throw it in the car on the floor, So there's so many lessons that we as parents and community leaders can make sure that our children especially are learning as well. And of course, you lead by example. So Patricia says in the UK, they have separate bins for general waste and plastic, garden waste, with garbage trucks having separate compartments for pickup. Thank you so much. Miss Sue says, yes, you're so right, Sandy. The smallest house yard used to be so clean. Back in the day, you could eat off the floor. Now it's a fancy brand new car out front and the yard looking like you know what. Richard has a name. He says, bring something, take something day. And he loves it. He says it's a great idea.
Bring something, take something day. I like that.
Yeah. Wonderful. Miss Shannon joined the conversation online. She says, I've been recycling on my own for a while now. I get mad if my husband doesn't put certain items aside for recycling.
I guess it takes a while. Huh?
Yes.
It takes a while to start a habit.
Absolutely, but we all got to do it.
Yeah.
Ms. Sue is saying that if the Savannah office did it, it'd be great to take things that we don't need. So I don't know if the premier is listening this morning or not, but again, this is something that every single constituency office could get involved in. Kathy, you kick it off, girl. We'll be there. I'll bring some clothes and stuff to West Bay.
All right, Sandy. Sounds good.
Beautiful. We do have someone who's asking a question. If you knew where the current government was in relation to the actual facility, our what's it called, our garbage collection facility. I know that that's a big agreement with the DART organization. Any idea of where we're at with that?
Well, I know that there's still ongoing discussions in relation to that. And I'm sure that something will be rolled out to the public as soon as everything has been finalized, but I can't really speak on that right now.
Okay. And someone says it's called the Casarina Pine, and it's the origin of what the Westin Hotel used to be named after. Because it was the Westin Casarina Hotel or something, right?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Someone's also sending a quick reminder that people can access the Cayman Islands Red Cross thrift shop completely free of cost with a referral form from a partner agency or as a self-referral. Okay, this I did not know.
I didn't know that either. I know that it's drop off.
Okay. Miss Carolina Ferreira, can you call in and tell us a little bit about that? That's good to know. That's something I certainly did not know. So someone reminds us that the Department of Environmental Health handles solid waste and trash, and the Department of Environment handles wildlife. So although they have very similar names and it can be confusing, that's the difference really between the two. All right, good stuff. Oh, and by the way, Easter camping is coming up since we're on the topic of trash and debris. Perfect time. Someone has just reminded me. This person said, it's utter effing nastiness, the amount and type of garbage thrown on the road, streets, and beach access. If people can clean up these items to donate, which can be upcycled, can they not drop it off at the district community office? And then they said, Easter campers, carry your trash to a bin. Now, I'm going to be finding out a little bit more about this initiative. I heard through the grapevine that the DART organization is actually going to be providing at some of the campsites, some portable, like I think they're going to do some portable potties and different things that will help campers to keep their environment as clean as possible. So we know that Caymanians love them a beach camping, which, by the way, I've never done. But anyway, that's a whole other discussion. But you
Don't know what you're missing.
what's that?
I said you don't know what you're missing.
I know. You know what? I'm gonna be a little bit honest with you. This is one of those times when I don't feel like a Caymanian, because the camping that I did was like deep woods camping, and to me, that's real camping. I kind of chuckle when I see people camping on the beach. I'm like, this isn't real camping. Y'all got all kind of generators. I'm like, please, you need to be axing some wood, building you in fire, roasting your marshmallows. Caymanians camp at a luxurious style that I have never seen in my life. So it's just a difference in culture. You know, I grew up with like, we're gonna go camping. We go out in the woods, and it's like, oh, can you start a fire with a rock and a stick? Yeah, that kind of camping. But anyway, I appreciate that it's a big part of who we are, and it's something that people are now gearing up for. In fact, from probably this week or early next week, there'll be people out reserving their campsite. So they're going to start going out there and putting up a tent and saying, oops, this is mine. Don't even think about it, sort of thing. And they're getting ready. So folks, we want to make sure that you are treating the environment, as especially areas like Smith Barcadere and other really popular areas, that you are put it better, leave it better than you found it. Right. So take your garbage bags with you, take, whatever you need to make sure that you're cleaning up. But I will be trying to get more information on these initiatives where private organizations are trying to help out. And I do know that the DART organization just happens to be one of those, where they're going to make donations in the areas that are heavy camping sites for people to ensure that they left it better than they found it. So as I get more information on that, which hopefully will be later on this week, I'll let you guys know. Okay. So another caller says most of those Costarina palms and weeping willow, they're also called Australian pines, on the West Bay Road were planted by Mally Coe. Who's Mally Coe? Many years ago, he was crippled and yet took the interest in the beach. Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know who Mally Coe is, but big shout out to him, because they are gorgeous. So a little bit of Cayman history there. Someone also said, good morning. It's so embarrassing watching the barge filled with a massive garbage mountain leaving the port, surrounded by the cruise ships and tourists. One job for the port, the barge should have been scheduled to leave early before the ships arrive. You couldn't make this S up, no pun intended.
Well, I want to just make a comment on that as well, which I need to speak to the minister to find out really if there's anything that can be done. I don't know if anybody saw it, but the first thing that came to mind when I saw it yesterday, I think it was yesterday, was what happens when they go out into the open ocean. It just appears that stuff could easily fall overboard. So I'm wondering if there couldn't be some sort of net that's put over the top so that so the debris doesn't fall. Because I mean, I'm sure it's heavy, but still, I mean, it just looks like it's a hazard to fall overboard. And then there we go again. We're trying to move it from one place, but certainly don't want to put it in our oceans.
Yeah.
But I mean, to the person that made the comment, I mean, I'm sure there needs to be some sort of scheduling in place to ensure that doesn't happen. But who knows? It could have been a unforeseen circumstance why they're still there, or why I haven't seen them there on the port before when we have the cruise ships in port. So I'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe something popped up and that's the reason why there was an overlap. But certainly something to look into to ensure that it doesn't happen again.
Miss Marjorie says that she puts out good clothes by the church door and someone always can use them. Karen says that we can learn basic skills, especially folks have learning needs. And Irvelin says, Sandy, what about people that have overgrown trees in their yard that makes a lot of a mess and they refuse to trim them? Yeah, I again, all these things really make a significant impact. And we're going to be doing a flora and fauna series, by the way, about local trees and where you might want to plant certain things, and why certain plants are really wonderful to use in different areas. But look at this beautiful picture. Now, I know, Kathy, that you can't see this and our radio listeners can't see this, but I'm going to post this as a separate post on Facebook and Instagram this morning. But someone has just sent us photos of them recycling tires. And this is the cutest little thing ever. So the first one is, it looks like a little lady because it's got like little eyelashes and stuff. And she's using them as potted plants and decorations in the yard. So this one even has little feet on it. And then it's like 3 tires together. And she's drawn a little lip and put little big eyelashes on it. And it's like a holding place for a plant. And then there's another one that looks like a ladybug. So it's like 2 tires put together, and then you paint it and it looks like a ladybug. And again, it's a plant holder. So these are super creative ways in which you can recycle tires. Now, the thing about tires, I'm not really sure how this works, and I don't know who's the expert on this, is I think you should be careful with tires, in the sense that they have obviously been on the road for a while, and they can have, environmentally, like in terms of your health, they can have oil and all sorts of things in them. So if you're going to use them in your yard, I don't know if there's a way to kind of decontaminate them. I don't know if that's the right word, but especially if you have children and other people who like to play in the yard, you just have to be careful when recycling certain types of materials. So yeah. Oh, wonderful.
Before you come off of the tree, Sandra, I want to take this opportunity to just let the West Bay public know, because I did put it up on my social media, where I was looking for suggestions from residents, not just in West Bay Central, but in West Bay, on areas in which we should plant some trees. Now, I've only gotten 3 suggestions. All of them I'm going to take on. But if there's anybody in the West Bay area, or even if you don't live in West Bay, but you may have drove by an area that you think could benefit from some shade, or, we're really trying to roll out this Plant the Tree for Jubilee. And I've been tasked to plant 100 trees in West Bay Central. So just wanted to put it out there. If anyone has any suggestions, you can contact my constituency office on 926-1717, or by email, which is Catherine, FORWBC@gmail.com.
So you're going to do 100 plants this year for the Jubilee celebration?
Well, we're in May. Just about. I mean, we're here in April, and the time is going so quickly, right? That was the goal, but I mean, we have to get started. I'm not sure. I mean, you can plant 10 little trees. I think it's possible. I certainly think it's possible.
Absolutely.
But that's what each one of the constituencies have been tasked to do, is, to join in with the initiative to plant 100 trees. So I'm going to try my best to see if I can meet the order.
All right, folks. So I know that the both the governor and the premier have also been planting trees. So a couple of weeks ago, we were up at the Botanic Park, and they planted a number of trees. I don't know how many. I'm trying to remember how many trees they did, but they did do a number of trees there as well. So Catherine reminds us that Pinterest has a lot of wonderful recycling ideas on how to recycle all sorts of things. So you can certainly, if you're handy and if you like doing those little projects, folks, check those out. Soka says that she lives in Miami, but she likes to go into poorer neighborhoods and give out clothes, jewelry, household goods, etc. And it's better than just dumping them. So that's another good idea. And I think it was last year, I did a closet. I try to do a closet clear out if I can, at least once a year, really, because I find there's only so many clothes you can wear. And as we start to have that, middle age spread, some of the clothes no longer fit the right way or whatever. And so I had a few things. I donated them to a young lady who needed some work clothes. And it was like 2 big bags of clothes, and she took what she could from it. And then she shared it with other people. She messaged me. She's like, Miss Sandy, so many people got clothes out of that bag because, she shared it with a lot of other people in her family or in the neighborhood as well, which, by the way, If you wear a size 9.5 shoe and you need some shoes, will you call or message me on WhatsApp? Because I will be doing a shoe clear out between now and the weekend. And I've got, oh God, it's going to be a number of shoes because all I can tell you is my feet have grown. Nobody told me that your feet can grow after you become an adult, but apparently. So I don't think I'm really a comfortable 9.5 anymore. And some of the shoes are unworn. Some are barely worn and they're in extremely good shape. So if you're in need of shoes, and it's the range of shoes from like high heels, which I don't wear anymore, to all sorts of other stuff. So if you need any shoes, folks, and you wear a size 9.5, now don't be like the wicked stepsisters where you actually wear like an 11 and you're trying to squeeze your foot into 9.5. Don't do that. Make sure you wear a 9.5. I gave out 2 pairs a couple of days ago, and that lady was so thankful. One was a pair of walking shoes, and the other one she said she could wear to church. So, folks, if you need shoes and you're a 9.5 comfortably, let me know. All right, Karen, sorry, says I'd like to speak to Miss Kathy, and what's up? I have many ideas that I can tell her. So she just gave the constituency number. Kathy, just repeat it again for us.
926-1717.
So 926-1717, folks. Super easy number to remember. So Kathy, we have some more time here with you. Tell us, what have you been up to in your constituency as of late? How was the, I know we did a tour some months back of your constituency office. How is the, you do is it on Fridays that you do your giveaway of food from the pantry?
Mm-hmm.
How has that been going?
That, oh gosh, well, it's grown a lot. It's grown a lot. We no longer, we haven't from the very beginning been servicing just West Bay Central. We have persons from each district. And I just want to take a minute to give a shout out to the food bank because they're the individuals who are really helping to provide the food bags to all the residents in West Bay. But I think the last count I think it was like 63 homes that we were delivering to. That now that's a full day. So usually on Fridays, we collect the items from the food bank and then they're delivered to the individuals in the community who are unable to come to the constituency office to pick up their food bags. So that's been keeping us busy on Fridays, just getting that stuff out. One of the things that I'm also working on and hoping to get that established, we're still working with I'm trying to remember his title, the head pharmacist, is we're trying to roll out a delivery program in West Bay for medication. Because that's one of the things that the elderly are having a very hard time with picking up their medication. So I'm working on that, but it's not as easy as, having someone from my office go to pick up the medication. They have to be trained. And so that's something that's in the works. So we've been busy trying to get that established. And really, Sandra, it's hard to believe that we're in April. I mean, it was just Christmas, so time is just flying, in the constituency office, we've been busy trying to get, a lot of our Caymanians who have been impacted by the pandemic. We've been trying to assist them with, getting connected with work. We just recently rolled out a scholarship program through Inspire Cayman, the TVET training program. So we've been having a few meetings where Mr. Miles came over and he spoke to those persons who were interested in obtaining a scholarship, told them a bit about the program and the results, which really, I think Michael's TVET program has been very successful, and there are many organizations now who are partnering with him and they're looking for Caymanians. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to partner with him, is because I don't want to just say that I'm doing something to, it look pretty on paper. I want to make sure that if we roll something out from the constituency office, our Caymanians are benefiting from it. So anybody who joins up to that program at the end of it should be able to secure a job, in whatever area that they desire. So again, that's another shout out. we are still accepting applications. If there's anybody who is interested in applying for the TVET scholarship, they can also reach out to the constituency office. That I think the deadline is fastly approaching. Mr. Maz is about to start a new class, so we need to get that going. You know, and just pretty much just that, Sandra, just servicing the constituency, visiting the elderly. I'm about, you know, because COVID was just this big monster that everybody, you know, was concerned about. And I think the biggest issue was, how do we protect our vulnerable? For me, I didn't want to do anything that I was going to feel, you know, impacted the elderly in a negative way. But at this stage now, it's due time for the elderly to be able to get back out, to, you know, to get their social time. So I'm going to be rolling out, you know, some events for the elderly in the next couple of weeks. So I've been busy working on that.
Very good. And you're still doing your pickup and drop offs, medical cert to the medical appointments?
We paused that. Gosh, I'm trying to remember when that was paused, but that was paused when there was wide community spread, because it really wasn't sustainable. The constituency van is actually funded through the constituency office. And so in order for it to be safe, I would have had to probably reduce the pickups to one person, you know, per delivery. Well, I guess you wouldn't call it delivery, but you know what I mean? Like, not previously we had two pickup times and 2 drop off times. But it would obviously have to change to accommodate, you know, more space on the van. But now that we are, you know, in a much better position, that's going to be rolled back out very soon.
Okay, good.
A lot of people, not just in West Bay Central, all the different districts really benefited from that, and they're anxiously awaiting for it to be, you know, restarted.
Okay, awesome. So folks, again, if you're in West Bay Central, but as Miss Kathy said, some of the services that she offers spills over into other areas of West Bay, you know, you can contact the office there every Friday. They do, and tell us a little bit what's in that, the package of groceries that you give out. What sort of food is it?
Well, it varies every week. It's, again, like I said, it's provided from the food bank. So they usually provide just basic staples, you know, like flour, sugar, just basic essentials. And then they also provide, you know, some poultry. So we usually provide like a bag of frozen chicken, so that, you know, persons can have something to cook for a hot meal over the weekend.
All right. So if you're in need of an emergency supply of food, you know, please contact the office. And I think, you know, there's other food bank locations around the island that you can certainly inquire about. But as Kathy rightfully said, the idea is to make all of us sustainable, where we can get up on our own 2 feet, especially if there's nothing wrong with you folks and you are healthy and you can get to work. Some people might have issues trying to sort out, you know, daycare and childcare provisions. But folks, we've got to find a way where you can have your own coins, you can have your own dollars at the end of the day. Training opportunities are really, really important. So Miles has his, you know, school that offers accredited programs in a variety of different areas. Now, somebody was being kind of critical of Michael recently, and I do need to reach out to him, saying that he was looking to hire someone to teach and to manage his facility who wasn't a Caymanian. And they're like, doesn't this go against what he's preaching in terms of hire Caymanians and support Caymanians? So I haven't had a chance to speak with him yet, but they did give me a fair bit of information about a work permit that was being submitted. So we'll speak to Michael and see what he has to say about that. But, you know, folks, we need to do our best to support Caymanians where we can. But I always say that it starts with the man in the mirror. So we each have an obligation to do our part. So we got to make sure that we are, you know, preparing ourselves as much as possible to be in the workforce. Even as a Caymanian woman, sometimes I see other young women who need a little bit of tweaking when they go to job interviews and stuff like that. I have one young lady right now that I'm going to try to start working with her because she's rough around the edges. And sometimes people themselves don't always know that they're rough around the edges. And that's why they can't get certain jobs in certain places.
Right.
Everybody wants to work at the Ritz, but let me be very, very honest with you. Not everybody is the Ritz cup of tea. Like they're a more refined environment. And, you can have a Caymanian accent and still be very, very refined. But let's be honest, some people, are a little bit rough around the edges, and you might not be a good fit for the Ritz or the Kimpton, but maybe what's the other one that's closer to town? I forget what that institution's called. But my point is, they all have a different sort of clientele that they're appealing to. And so, they expect different things from their employer based on that clientele and that corporate image. And if you don't fit the corporate image, it doesn't mean that you can't get a job somewhere else or you can't stay in the tourism industry, but you've got to also understand that not everybody fits in with every single environment, right? So,
And Sandra, in addition to that, I want to just touch on what you were saying earlier, in terms of, some of the challenges that our people are facing in order to get, gainful employment. That is one of the things that I want to focus on, because I feel that oftentimes it's not that our people don't want to work. It's that they have setbacks that have prevented them from, sometimes they get the jobs, but they're unable to keep them.
right.
And so any individual who is, some of the things that our people are experiencing that prevents them from getting jobs is not being able to get a clean police record, and sometimes it's as simple as applying for an expungement. These are things that we're offering at the West Bay Central office, trying to help, that single mother that wants to work, but she doesn't have anybody to assist her with childcare, trying to connect her with the relevant support that's out there so that her child can go to preschool, so that she can get a job. So if there's someone listening this morning that really has a desire to work but feels stuck, this is really my focus. This is the focus that I have right now. I'm just trying to get as many of our people back into the workforce while the window of opportunity is still open. Because as everybody's seeing, there's articles all over the place about work permits and the need for work permits. And so at the end of the day, our people need to do their part as well. And so me as an MP for West Bay Central and by extension the whole of West Bay, this is how I feel I need to contribute, is by ensuring that the people in West Bay have the support that they need to do whatever their heart desires. So I just want to touch on that. And then just, I'm sure that if Michael is listening, or if he has an opportunity to set the record straight, I'm sure he will. I'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt. I know that he already has some Caymanians working in his office, but again, if we're trying to train our Caymanians to be the best out at, being, right now we don't have any HVAC Caymanians trained. Some of these training programs are going to require, people that have specialties in this particular or technical areas. So it would be good for you to reach out to Michael, but hopefully that's probably what it is he's probably trying to bring someone over who has a technical background that probably can't be sourced locally.
Yes.
But
Miss,
I guess we're going to speak with him.
Yeah, we'll definitely speak with him. Miss Marjorie's asking someone to plant more breadfruit trees. She says she would like to have some yellow heart breadfruit trees being planted. And Miss Nat B says that she has some 9.5 heels as her feet has shrunk. Wow, aren't you lucky? So we do have Jared who's going to join the conversation. Good morning, Jared. How are you? Ooh, Jared, your room looks messy. I don't know what happened to your camera just now. Your camera dropped and we got to see that messy college room that you're dealing with. He's a typical college student. And we can't hear you either, Jared. I think you have yourself muted.
Yeah, morning.
Morning.
Yeah, it's a bit messy.
Are you in class? I see your Zoom link in the background.
I am actually in a meeting, but I do prioritize my Caymanian people. But
so you're in a meeting and you're on the live stream at the same time. Why not?
Yeah, look. Yeah, it's all right. It's important, but not that important, really.
All right. What's on your mind today?
But we were talking about when we were talking about the environment.
Oh, for sure.
Well,
Yes,
I had a question about if we do compost recycling. By that, when I was back home, I noticed we recycle glass bottle, and aluminium, but I was not seeing compost in that, because compost can be very healthy when you putting it in plants and whatever. I don't know. I don't know what the science is behind it. But if we are trying to move away from dumping everything on the dump, I was just questioning what the progress is with compost recycling, other than bringing it to the dump and it's being amalgamated and building up there. I did hear the deputy speaker, the Honorable Ebanks. I forgot her first name, but she was talking about the barge and the net, and that's a valid point, because I don't even know how the barge works. Does it just stay out there until another ship comes to pick it up, and then it come back in? Like, how it work? That I'm not really sure on. But the net part, that would be really important. I know, I don't know if you brought it up, but there were like locals kind of a bit frustrated with hotels not taking Caymanians. I am very surprised. I'm not surprised at that, to be honest. But since tourism has picked back up, it seems as if the Caymanian dollar, with Caymanians going to these hotels, are no longer being accepted, when we were the ones that brought the hotel industry through. Literally, when they were begging Sunday, they were on their knees begging us to come, and now that the tourists are back, we don't have enough space, we don't have enough people, which is not the case, because they have Caymanians that they can hire. They just choose not to hire them. And so, well, allegedly, they choose not to hire them. I have to be very careful of that. And so, I think, honestly, Caymanians should just start doing their own thing. If tourists or certain business owners don't want to hire Caymanians, I think it would be fair if we started to hire our own Caymanians who are hardworking and who have exemplified the standard of the Caymanian hard work, right? And so, I'm not going to say shame on those hotels, but when y'all get into a corner next time, don't expect no Caymanian to be running help on her. Because this has always been the case, Sandy. When hurricane comes, hurricane
season is coming right up.
So I want to know what they're going to do when the hotel get flooded out. They're going to want Cayman to help them. So at the very least, even if it's 10%, well, no Cayman should even be put on no quota to go in no hotel, first and foremost. And it's not about Cayman or whatever, but if a person is a local, you should welcome them, right? And I'm not talking about government, because I know when government go into these hotels and whatever, they go backwards for government.
Right.
I'm talking about when you have somebody who lives in Cayman, who wants to, enjoy their amenities.
Just residents. Most hotels have residence rates, and some of the services that they offer, they give you a discount on if you're a resident. But I do think, and I've heard this happening at a number of these properties, that once the tourists arrive, the residents take a considerable backseat to the tourist dollar. And as Jared rightfully said, during the pandemic, a lot of these hotels were afloat minimally, but it was because of the local dollar and the local residents that were going out patronizing them. Listen, some of these buffets and brunches on a Sunday were just as busy as if they had a full complement of tourists visiting them, because every single Sunday, you guys were packing up. I don't know where y'all were getting the money from, But you guys were packing up all these facilities on West Bay Road, talking about, oh, I saw the photos on Instagram and Facebook.
Brunch, yeah.
Oh, I'm having brunch at the, I don't even know what these highfalutin
You know,
places
that's a Cayman
are.
tradition.
But yes, y'all love to
But
eat out
we
with all
were
these
going in
brunches.
hard.
And I mean, you guys were doing it hard during the pandemic. I don't know, pandemic stress had you eating more brunch or what was going on. But you know, what's the name of that one property on West Bay Road where
It wasn't accepting.
No. This is the one that was busy every single weekend with all these brunches.
It might be Marriott.
No. It's where Bamboo used to be. What's that one called again? Some new boutique hotel now. Anyway, begins with a T or something. Anyways, you guys can see I don't go there. But you know, they had all sorts of fanciness going on, and y'all were like, oh, the brunch is so fabulous, and you put on your best your best Sunday frocks. I don't know if y'all were going to church, but you were definitely going out for brunch, and you were looking fat. Tilly's, thank you, Misha.
Oh, it's Tilly's.
Yes, honey child. That was like the place to be seen, apparently. If you thought you were somebody in Cayman, apparently you went to Tilly's during the lockdown for brunch. And you posted it on Facebook because, you know, you want everybody to know you can afford Tilly's overpriced brunch. And you were there and you're like, me and my friends drinking champagne and what's it called when you put the champagne and the other thing together? Whatever. You know, these fancy drinks.
Yeah.
And so everybody was into it. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. If that's what you're into, then, you know, knock yourselves out. But some of these same establishments now don't want your business. So this is where I'm kind of like, oops.
What's funny, Sunday, I hate to pull that one hotel. I heard there was a
mimosas. Thank you, Richard.
Mimosas.
Richard is like, girl,
yeah,
you need to go to brunch.
Yeah, I noticed it has been an issue with people specifically in East End by Kaiba. And the Captain Seafire were talking about they don't have enough people to deal with the demand
of the local population. What a hot mess.
I don't know.
Well, I was not one of those people out there patronizing them. In fact, I was sitting back looking at the situation going, can't wait till we reopen to see how this is going to work out. I think there's a balance, you know, as a tourist establishment, you can invite tourists and you can service your tourists, but you do have that local clientele that you can also service. Now, let me be very, very clear. There's some of you locals who don't know how to behave yourselves when you go out. So when you go to the Moritz or wherever and you do a staycation, y'all are acting the proper fool, like you were at some $2 hotel fighting with each other and damaging people's property. You can't go on like that. But you know what? That's not the majority of people. That was like one couple during the pandemic, and they made us all look bad as Caymanians because we're like, oh, here we go again. This couple that's always fighting and carrying on and cursing with their 1,011 children, you know, making all Caymanians look bad. And of course, you know, the property owners and others at these facilities like, oh, these Caymanians don't know how to behave. Well, 99% of the Caymanians do know how to behave. And we behave every single day. We brunch out, we eat out, and, you know, we don't even pay you no mind. But it's always that 1%er, the 2%er that is embarrassing us all. But, you know, there is this idea for some of these restaurants that when you go there, you get a different treatment. Now, mind you, my name is Sandra Hill. So when I show up to a place, I'm going to be very clear, honey child. They know my face. So they'll be trying to roll out the red carpet for me. And people tell me this, like, I don't necessarily pay it any mind. So I'm just like, all right, I'm just here to have lunch. But people tell me, Sandy, you're not going to get the same treatment that everybody else is going to get because they know you. And they know you're going to be putting them in blast on the Cold Hard Truth. Yeah. So, you know, sometimes I wonder, like, I need to go incognito. Like, I need to go big.
You should bunch of places and see what happens.
Oh God.
Yes.
Sandra, I'm gonna unfortunately gonna have to leave.
No problem.
I have another meeting that starts shortly. So I wanna
thank you so much,
but
Kathy.
Thank you for allowing me to join. I'm sorry I wasn't able to join by video this morning, but the next time I'll have that sorted out. But it was still nice to have some nice conversation. And to your other guests, you enjoy your day and thank you for calling in as well.
And just remind us of where your constituency office is located.
My constituency office is 37 Borel Street, West Bay.
All right. Thank you, Miss Kathy. Have a good one.
Thank you. You as well. Bye.
All right, honey. Bye-bye. All right, folks, that's Kathy Wilks. 936-2626 is the telephone number. Feel free to call in. Were you brunching during the pandemic? How many of you were living that life, that fabulous lifestyle? And then some of y'all were living that fabulous lifestyle and still on government assistance or getting the tourism money. I'm just saying the two really don't go together. But anyway, Miss Sue says, my daughter-in-law is trying so hard to find a job. She's sending her resume to Works, trying to get interviews, and they haven't returned her emails yet. How long does it take? Like Miss Kathy said, it's been hard to get childcare, and the costs more sometimes than what the salary is in a week or a month. Jamila says, only if we had that kind of support in Georgetown, referring to some of the things that Kathy's doing at her constituency office. Y'all need to get it together, elected officials, because I tell you what,
report
next election, yeah, we're going to be doing a report card soon, 1 year anniversary. And I say that the election cycle would be here before you know it.
Yeah. Quick question about the report. Are you doing it individually, really,
yes.
Member?
I think we need to do it that way because there are some members of the PACT government who are carrying more than their load and they're doing a lot. And then there are other people who are so slack that it's not even funny. So the report card, in case you missed it, we're going to be doing a report card on all elected officials because, you know, some of the opposition members are failing as well. They're nowhere to be seen. And we're going to be grading them on a number of different criteria. So we're working out the criteria and I will certainly let you guys know all the details of that. So yes, to answer Jared's question, it will be an individual mark. And then I think
groups,
we can do, yes.
Yeah. And people.
Right, exactly. So Nat B says that Jamaica offers a residency rate 365 day of the year. I think every hotel more or less claims that they do that, but it's really a matter of how the locals are treated once they go to these institutions or they're told, oh, we can no longer, because they were offering, I think, during the pandemic, a little bit of an extra discount, which you can understand the prices are going to go back up now. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're going to say nothing available for, because they were doing all kind of, oh, get a cabana and a day in the shade and a bottle of whatever for $150 or like they had little marketing ploys where they were trying to market to get you in the door. And they no longer need to do that because the tourists have returned.
Yeah.
Something to be said about it. Jamila is giving Miss Sue some information about who to contact over at Works. And Karen says people can't get any experience, any job experience, unless they get the opportunity to work. So we have less than a minute left in the program, folks. Irvin says, welp, after lockdown, I was out and I needed that little breath of fresh air. So she was out brunching. All right. I feel you, girl. Karen also says that some of the businesses are too picky and they forget where they began.
But the question is, are they being too picky? Because we have to understand that Cayman operates in a, like real estate, high-end real estate. Cayman environment for tourism is high-end tourism. So if you can, you know, as how Nana would call it, if you can't walk the walk and talk the talk, and
go there, Nana.
Earlier, as Sandy said earlier, you know, you have to represent the Cayman brand. You have
all right, pause right there, Jared. We got to close off for our radio listeners. 89.1, Bobo 89.1, Cayman's #1 talk show platform. Just got kicked off a week now. And folks, things are so hot. Your tea is on fire every single day. Keep it locked. We're going to continue the conversation for just a few minutes on YouTube and Facebook, but we've got some work appointments that we definitely have to go to. But we're going to say farewell and bid adieu to our radio listeners now.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Find us on Facebook and YouTube for the latest show episodes, including special community interviews and much more. Follow Cayman Morrow Road on Facebook and YouTube for all your community happenings.
All right, folks. So that's it for our radio listeners. Jared, we got a couple more minutes. The Ugly Truth says, glad to say that I didn't spend $1 at those establishments. I don't forget their true colors. What a mess. Neither did I. Karen says, Jamila, it's the same here in the UK. I think this is in relation to trying to find work. So listen, all over the world, really, there's some real issues in the labor and work market for sure. And, I think there's some things that the government can do. There's some things that individuals can do. And at the same time, we have to accept that some issues are global issues that we are all struggling with. And I guess we'll have to see what kind of solutions that we can come up with. Jared, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. But yes, the report card is soon to come. I am working on those things. Also working on another article. Oh, Jesus, the port is going to drive me crazy. Y'all, my hair was growing back. I told y'all I was going to go natural and stop relaxing my hair. And so it is filling back in and all that good stuff now, looking good. But this port situation would make anybody go bald with stress if you let it stress you out. But I'm not going to let them stress me out now. But I have a letter. How many pages? Geez, some pieces are long. 6 pages from a lawyer. We're going to put up the story a bit later on, and we'll probably discuss this maybe a bit tomorrow. But all I can tell you is the port has been a mess. This dates back to June of 2018. The port has been a mess for a very long time. It's nothing new. But what shocks me is that all this time, these issues have not been resolved and it hasn't been fixed. Deplorable is the only real word that I can use to describe that situation. Jared, go do some studying.
Thank you so much for having me. I'll see you. I'll be working on the report for this.
Yes. Good.
We'll get it going. All right.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. Miss Karen says sometimes money precedes people skills. Thank you, Miss Karen. Sounds like you're joining us from the UK. We've got Jamila, Irvelyn, Misha, Miss Sue, DJ Trucking, Nat B, not the cold hard truth, the ugly truth. Miss Marjorie, Jared, Soka, who else was here? Marshall, Shannon, everybody was tuned in this morning. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in and making this your number one talk radio program. You guys have a fabulous day. I can't believe that tomorrow is Thursday already. Where does the time go? I don't know, but it flies by. So we will see you guys tomorrow morning. And don't forget, I got to double check my schedules because I've got some special guests coming up. So we're going to be revisiting the Ukraine situation so we can get an update. Seems like a lot of us have forgotten about, there's not even a war. There's a country over there that's being attacked by the Russians. I don't think it's going very well for the Russians, but we'll get the experts to give us an update on that. So I thank you guys for tuning in to the program. I'll leave you with just a couple little PSAs, and I will see you all tomorrow morning.
It's 2022, and CMR is taking talk to the next level. Are you tired of talk shows that offer no solutions for you? Talk, 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 talk. And more talk? Here at CMR, we believe in action. Tune into our new segment where we answer your questions about life, marriage, business. It's 2022, and CMR is taking talk to the next level. Are you tired of talk shows that offer no solutions for you? Talk, 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 talk. And more talk? Here at CMR, we believe in action. Tune into our new segment where we answer your questions about life, marriage, business, and so much more. Anything you want advice on, reach out to us for a special dose of the cold, hard truth. Having a hard time with a business? Sort 'em Out Sandy is here. Relationship woes? Sort 'em Out Sandy is here. Confused by the procedures to follow? Sort 'em Out Sandy is here. Submit your questions via email to tips@caymanmarlroad.com, on WhatsApp or on Messenger.
The Cold Hard Truth is Cayman's #1 talk show since it debuted in March 2020. According to independent research, we are the most listened to talk show in 2021, and most people prefer us to any other options on island. We tackle tough issues some days, and other times have fun and lighthearted discussions. But most importantly, the cold, hard truth is here for you. Thank you for your support as we continue to be the voice of the people in 2022 and beyond.